public meeting regarding the bridge closing. So hopefully we'll see you there too.
The community is concerned about this bridge being closed for up to 2 years because it's pretty much their lifeline. Most of them drive 45 minutes to an hour across this bridge, across the mountain to work. And if they close this bridge, the detours, the alternatives will add another 45 minutes to an hour for them to get to work each day. There'll be no fire protection on that side of the river. The response time for EMS is already about 35 to 40 minutes to get up here. That's going to add another 30 minutes or so. The law enforcement's going to be same story. Farmers farm on both sides of the river. How are they going to get to their fields with their equipment?
What is the alternative that you're pushing for?
Temporary bridge.
Okay. How would that be possible?
I don't know. I'm not an engineer.
Yeah.
But I would like to hear that it was even considered.
We're not opposed to building a bridge, we just need a temporary bridge while this one's closed.
Just to give you an idea of some of the condition that we're looking at, you can see the spall with the exposed rebar, heavy corrosion, deterioration of concrete. The biggest thing is probably that you all are aware of. If you grew up here, you know about the mussels, you know about the shoals. I don't have to tell you about those because you live here. There's 27 endangered species there. And one of the things that we have to do mitigation measures. We can't impact them, we can't damage them, we can't endanger them with our construction activities. I know it's been a hard fight within the department to try to replace the bridge where it's at, or beside of it. It's something that we're not going to be able to do because of the regulations and the rules that we have to live by. Some things preclude us from doing that, and that's the laws and the federal laws of the protected species that are present there and their habitat. I cannot get in the water. I can't put a pier in the water. We also have archaeological issues on the banks, so I can't build anything on the banks. And it's also a historic bridge, and so it has to be preserved using the money that we're using. The official detour is basically 33, 66, 94 to 70. Now, if you were just going to go down 70, I think it's 35 miles by the time you come around and get back to 70. But if you were just wanting to go as the crow flies from one side of the bridge to the other, it's 46 miles.
I've heard that the prospects exist for the Corps of Engineers, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, to come in and to actually place a temporary bridge there where there could be passage during the time that the bridge is closed.
Federal regulations will not allow. They're endangered species. We cannot go into their habitat.
Down that river, they shell plenty of mussel shells in that river. And if they close that bridge, we're going to lose our jobs because we cannot afford to go that further, the gasoline, the gold.
Which one of you want to look at this little girl in the face and say, I'd rather have a mussel, honey, as have you, or his grandchildren, or some of these other grandchildren. Which one of you can do it?
We're just following the laws that have been put before us and those restrictions.
The consensus of the people is the fact that the bottom line is we think we're just a little bit more important than the snail darter and the mussel.
Amen.
The mussels that we're dealing with is because of the guidelines within that Endangered Species Act. That as a state agency that gets federal funds, we've got to address impacts of those things. Now, there's a lot of them in there. Do I agree that, you know, maybe putting a new bridge in there is going to wipe them out? That's not for me to say. But
what is your opinion?
My opinion?
I would like for you to state your opinion, okay? And I'm not trying to put you on the spot. Your own individual opinion.
You wouldn't ask me if you didn't want to know. All right. I think, you know, with some of the things we could do, we could probably do some things that would not endanger the mussels, but that's not my call.
All I see up here is smug faces. I've seen more participation in a Girl Scout jamboree. You've got all these calculations, these cost calculations. What about the calculation in human lives? They're going to be lost. And there's no ifs, ands, and buts, gentlemen. That will be the case. Okay? And I understand what's going on. And I don't appreciate this. I'm speaking for the elderly that I've spoken to today that will not go to a doctor because of the route you have to take. And I'll invite all of you gentlemen to come up and spend a weekend when it's snowed in. You know what I'm saying? You talk your fancy talk and talk what you want to, but none of you live here. Okay? And we have to deal with this every day.
But I think we need to still explore what Congressman Jenkins talked about. I can't see why in the world, if we go up the river a certain amount of space, that we can't put some type of temporary bridge. Obviously, I think everyone realizes that bridge is in bad shape. I think we all can agree on that. You can look at it and see something's got to be done. We've all got different opinions of what we need to do next, but it's just beside me that we can't come up with some way up above that bridge to put in a temporary bridge to keep that traffic going back and forth. And, you know, whatever happens here tonight, I can guarantee you that I'm going to be doing everything like I have been doing to make sure this happens. This has come up in the last 6 weeks. I got an email that we're going to have a public hearing. And just all of a sudden, the weight limit gets dropped. It's just like everything's being shoved down this community's throat and not giving everybody an opportunity. If we shut this bridge, then we may have people, instead of driving 100 miles around every day, they might want to even take a look at temporary housing or something somewhere to go back and forth to the job, keep them having to drive that far. We're just not giving this community the time they need to adapt to this. But again, we're going to fight, and Senator Falk and I have talked, and we've talked to Congressman Rowe today, and I said a few things on the conference call I want to apologize to you about. But, you know, my family, we're down the river, on property on Clinch River. Everybody in here loves that river. But we love that 5-year-old child that's getting on a bus up at the swinging bridge that's going to be on the bus.